Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. The best travel tripod of 2024. A big statement to make, but once again, no, it is not the Peak Design travel tripod. I've been a photographer for 16 years now. I know quite a bit about tripods, and last year I showed you that this tripod, the F38 Ulanzi tripod, beats this tripod in almost every single way, and I said this was the tripod of 2023. If you were going out traveling or just everyday use, this was the tripod to go for. But now, this guy right here, the F38 Pro from Falcam, is by far the best travel tripod on the market. And today I'm gonna walk you through why. Now, this is still like one of the most popular tripods. So today I'm mainly gonna compare these two against each other, and then we'll reference in the Ulanzi tripod and why I think this one is better than that one, even though for some people this is still gonna be the right choice. We'll talk more about that. And just like that Ulanzi tripod, this F38 Pro beats the Peak Design tripod in almost every single way. But let's start with the two ways that the Peak Design tripod beats this guy. And then literally everything else in this video is it's pretty downhill for the Peak Design. Okay, let's start with the number one way that this guy beats the F38 Pro, and that is enclosed height. This is about 3 inches longer than the Peak Design when fully compacted. And this guy is a little lighter, at about half a pound lighter. This is 2.8 pounds, and this guy comes in at 3.3 pounds. Now, when you hold them next to each other, you don't feel it too much, but it's for sure there. So you are dealing with half a pound more on the F38 Pro than the Peak Design carbon fiber travel tripod. And for some people, those two things are gonna matter a lot. In that case, I would still say buy this tripod over this tripod. This tripod's even a little lighter than this guy, and about the same length. For everybody else, if you care how you use your tripod, again, you're gonna want the F38 Pro. Okay, let's look first at the locking legs. Now, this guy uses flip latches, and flip latches, I liked them, now I don't anymore. Let me explain. So flip latches, first we have 4 flip latches on the Peak Design. Extend, 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend, bink, 1, 2, 3, 4, and extend latches 1, 2, 3, 4 flip lock latches on the Peak Design. But I've always actually liked twist lock latches better. Now, the problem with older twist lock latches was that you would like turn and turn. It was like 3 or 4 turns to unlock and 3 or 4 turns on each of them to relock them. But Falcam came up with a 1/3 quick lock system. So this goes from here to there. That's fully unlocked. So from here to there, 1/3 of a turn, I can grab all 3 of these, unlock them, and then just let it drop. 1, 2, 3, twist, let it drop. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this tripod is deployed. It is twist lock, it's more natural, it's easier with gloves on, but the old twist locks, because you like cranked them a ton, flip locks like seemed that they were faster because you were just kind of going like open closed. But now with the 1/3, again, that's unlocked, that's locked. So it's a 1/3 turn, and I'm unlocking the legs. 1, 2, 3, close that leg, and my tripod is closed. On this guy again, it's not that it's terrible. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. I can get them all mostly closed with one hand. Okay, let's talk about leg design. Now, Peak Design in 2019, when this tripod was released, it was like revolutionary that they created a tripod that was like smooth. Like it didn't have tubular, like this guy's a little better than the older versions, but it's 3 tubes. So there's kind of like, I don't know, there's like gappage in here, and maybe when you're putting it in and out of your bag, it's just not smooth like a water bottle, and they kind of created like almost a smooth design. Now, the problem is, or the thing that they gave up with that, is stability. See, these aren't tubes. It's a hexagonal shape, and that shape extends the entire leg. So even when I release this piece is also a hexagonal tube, and when you get them all extended, it just doesn't lend to a ton of stability. Like you give up stability to be more sleek. Get this guy fully extended for you. Now, Falcam did something very clever with their leg design, where when you put it together, they have like kind of a, I guess it's like a hexagon, but instead of pointy bits, it's like rounded. It's like kind of like one dome on top. It's like an oval, I guess, like a squished oval, but then the inside of the leg has a bit of a flat spot and a bit of a flat spot to lock into that middle bit. And then we even have like more of a, this is rounder and smoother, less gaps in here than even the Peak design. But coming out of here, instead of maintaining that same shape, there's tube legs inside of here. So when I unlock this and I open them, this is just like a normal tubular leg, which has way more rigidity and way more strength when deployed than a flatter hexagonal or oval design. So this is tube legs inside of, what do they call it? Rex, they have a name for it. Reulux shape is that top bit, and then tubular design coming out of it. So that when these guys are fully extended and I'm cranking on this thing, like the Peak design tripod, it's a good tripod as far as stability goes, but like when you push on this thing and then you push on it, like this is just solid. Like there's a reason it has pro in the name. This is legitimately like a pro tripod. It is super sturdy. And this guy just has a lot of, again, it's the leg design. It's mostly the leg design that just gives this like a lot of play in the legs. And when you have tubular design, you just don't have that much play in the legs. And as you can see, their fully extended heights are almost identical. I think this is 60.5 inches and this is like 61 inches. Pretty much the same length extended. And then the center column on these are very, very different. Check out how skinny the neck is, or the center column is on the Peak design tripod. Again, not helping with its rigidity. They were really going for like, how small can we make this thing? They sacrificed a lot of rigidity. With this thing, it's like a beef, it's aluminum in here and it's like solid. Like this is a triangular design. Very, very solid. Now, one thing that center columns really help with is when you want to shoot low to the ground. Both of these tripods have a low to the ground mode where like the legs fully splay out and you go down. Now, the problem is the center column is in the way there. On the Peak design, how they get around that is a two-piece center column. When you want to get them separated though, what you have to do is unlock the ball head, roll it to the side until that hole on top is exposed. Oh geez. And then we pull the little tool out and we use this bit in here to get it into the Allen key. Come on. Untighten this bit. And once you have this completely unscrewed, then the two pieces of the column come apart. So now this piece is kind of all that's left. I take this piece out completely. But now that that whole center column is basically out of there, I can go to its lowest mode, which is here. And you can see I can lay it pretty dang flat on the table. It can get quite low. Now, it takes a bit of time to do. And then again, when I want to go back to my normal tripod, when I'm like, hey, now I need my center column again. Once again, I have to undo this, raise it, take this off, put this back in like that, pop this back on, undo the ball head, show that hole on the top again, and now screw the two pieces back together. Almost there. And I have now reattached the center column once again back to its normal self. Now, Falcam, again, they came up with a pretty clever solution here. They're known for quick release object. They make a lot of different quick release stuff, the F38 system, the F22 system, and they made a quick release center column. Here's how quick it is to go from attached to unattached. I just lift this up, press that out, open that up, and I've detached the top from the bottom of this bit. So now all I'm gonna do is pull that out the bottom, pop this bit on top, and now I have access to that super low mode that this tripod can do, and it can do it in 3 stages. The Peak design legs have 2 stages, so that means they can be in this orientation, or I press this button, release it, whoop, tighten that back up, release it, and then they can go to the second stage. So 2 stages. On the F38 Pro, we have stage 1, pop it, stage 2, and then down to stage 3. So you have different options, but then going to that stage 3 gives you that super low to the ground. I can be shooting way down here. So a quick way to do it And again, because it's quick release, it's not a bother. I have never taken that. I've literally never, ever taken those apart in real practice to do a low to the ground shot because I was just like, that's too much of a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna do that right now. So even if I thought of a low to ground shot, I was like, I'm not gonna do it because my tripod's a pain in the butt. So now I just flip this back up and it is reattached. So once again, press that off, unlock that, detached, put it back on, push that back in, reattached. That quick release, man. Look, quick release makes your life so much easier. And speaking of quick release, let's talk about arguably the best feature on the F38 Pro and the absolute worst feature on the Peak Design travel tripod. This just drives me mad. Hey, if you are enjoying today's video, don't thank me. Thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If you don't already know about Squarespace, they are the all-in-one website building platform that I've used for the past 11 years for my photography business. And I've loved Squarespace. I've been happy with them. I've stayed with them for 11 years because I am not a web designer, and I bet neither of you. I bet that you have a business, whether it's photography or videography, or maybe you're selling bracelets or jewelry. You want a website, you don't know how to make one, go to Squarespace. With their Fluid Engine design system, you can go in there, take one of their professionally designed templates, and customize it to your heart's desire so that it fits your business perfectly. You can get your domain through Squarespace, you can get your custom email through Squarespace, all in one through Squarespace. The best part though is that there's a completely free trial. So you can go in there and kick the tires, look around, check out the design system, flip through some templates, and start building out your website. And when you are ready to go live, use code David Manning for 10% off at checkout. You're gonna be happy you did. Thank you, Squarespace. Let's get back to these tripods. To lock in your camera to the Peak Design tripod, it is kind of a quick release. Like, it's a quick release-ish, where you kind of just press it in the front, you press it down, it locks in place, and then I just push this over to the side, ouch. And now that's locked in place. Now, this ball head has so many different issues. I've talked about it in the previous videos. To make it turn at all, even just to level it, you do have to come up a little bit, lock your center column back in place, and now if I untwist the ball head itself, now I can go into some different angles, I can level out my shot, things like that. Here's where it just gets infuriating. Check out the design of the ball head. See that design right there with those 3 nubby bits? Well, those nubby bits can only go to certain positions. If I go into a vertical shot like this, because of those nubby bits hitting the ball, I can only go to here and down to here. The nubs are hitting themselves, so you're very limited on how you can position this tripod without having to take your camera off and re-put it back. So if I was like, oh, I wanna go higher here, I would have to come up, lock this in place, unlock the tripod, fully unlock, turn it, turn the thing, lock it back in the other way, and then I could go, I can go higher now. So now I can go higher, but now I can't come back down to it. This is the most maddening ball head that I've ever used in my whole life, and I paid $650 for this tripod. I think this tripod only costs $600 now, but the ball head is the most important experience on a tripod. Like, it's what you're interacting with most on a tripod, the legs and the ball head. And on this tripod, check that head out. This is a very special drop-in universal quick release head. So any plate that I have, whether it's F38 or I have the Peak Design plate, or I have something like a cage. Maybe your camera is in a cage that has Arca Swiss on the bottom. Maybe it's in a cage that's like an L bracket style. None of that is going to work with the Peak Design unless you remove the little bits that keep your plate from sliding out side to side. So if you remove those, then I think you can get a normal cage to lock into. Check this out. No matter what camera plate you have, if it's Arca Swiss or any of the Arca Swiss compatibles, it's one click. I literally just drop my camera into it. It locks in place. There's a little lever right here. So I pop it here, drop it in. If I just drop it in, it's already locked in there. There's like a little bit of more I could push it. Like I can push it and like really lock it in place. And then it's one pull lever to pop it out. And on the top here, the little retainer bits that keep your plate from sliding side to side, they depress. And why that's important is that if you do have something like a cage or an L bracket that has Arca Swiss on it, you can take it still and just one press, lock it in place. So fully locked in, this is the small rig Arca Swiss rail, one lever, pop right out. This guy back to a plate system, that locks in no problem. I can switch over to the Peak Design plate. The Peak Design plate, fully compatible. Anything that is Arca Swiss can drop into this tripod in quick release, lock in place. Hallelujah, because as much as I love the Ulanzi tripod with an F38 plate on top so that I could still just like one click lock it in place, I could never use anything with a rail system on this. So if it was like this, there's no way to lock this to this. So if my camera was in a cage, I'd have to take it out of the cage to be able to use this F38 Pro, everything universally locks into the top of it. Even if you've got like a full rail system like this, again, if it's Arca Swiss, it locks in, one lever, pops back out. And then this ball head acts much more like a normal tripod ball head. So lock it onto place here, and I have a lever on the back to turn this into a pan head. Now, why is a pan head on a ball head so important? And that is because when I unlatch this and go into a vertical position, I have 360 pan. Anywhere that I want to put this camera on this tripod is incredibly easy to do because it has that latch, that cutout latch to go vertical, and then I can push it to any angle that I want without hitting those three little nubbers. And then just for kicks, they actually added onto here a dampening system. So little teeny tiny knob here, if I crank it all the way down to minus, this is very loose. Like the ball head movement is super, super loose. And if I crank it all the way up, I'm adding dampening into the system. And now it takes, like I'm unlatched right now, but I actually have to move the camera to different positions. So dampening built into the ball head, it's a significantly more useful ball head. And again, like the ball head and the legs are the two things that you are gonna use most on your I mean, arguably, I guess the quick release you use quite a bit too, like popping that in and out, just being able to do that, very amazing. And then just for fun, it seems they threw in a bunch of other clever little features on this tripod. Like they use tripods. Like they're people that use tripods that designed this, and it makes it very useful. Right here, for instance, is a 1/4-20 mount with 2 ARRI locating pins, so you can put all sorts of different things there. And then on this side, if you know their F22, F38 system, this is an F22 plate already built into the tripod, so I could take something like a magic arm, pop this out of there, quick release with one button in, and now I could mount something like my phone or a monitor or a microphone. There's all sorts of things that I can now mount to this tripod because there's an F22 plate built into the tripod. I am telling you, this is like, it really is my dream tripod. Like they really incorporated everything that I want into a single tripod. Even the spike feet are built into this tripod. If you buy a Peak Design tripod and you're later like, hey, I want spike feet on here, you have to use an Allen key to take these feet off, pay 30 bucks, get the spike feet from Peak Design, screw them on with the Allen key. Every time that you want to switch back and forth, you're using an Allen key. On here, they just have this clever design where it's like that. See the spike foot underneath there? All I gotta do is press real hard sideways on this. There's a spike foot. Underneath the rubber foot, the spike foot's already there. It's like stuff like that just makes you go like, yeah, that is a thoughtful tripod. So for me, it is a very easy, even though very bold to say, a very easy thing to say that the tripod of 2024, it's here. It's the F38 Pro, and I love it, and I wanna buy like 3 more of them. As always though, I wanna hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the F38 travel tripod. I promise you, man, if you get your hands on this thing, like you'll start walking through some of these features and be like, that is, like they thought of everything. Everything that you've ever had a problem with your tripods, they thought of it on this guy. Very, very clever. All right, I'll see you soon. I forgot something. There's a very cool feature that I totally forgot to mention. Didn't even mention that there's little bits here and here that you can hang if you have like a quick release style camera strap, either Peak Design or Falcam, which makes their own very sweet camera straps. You can use this and quick release it into here, quick release it into here, and then now when you fold up your tripod, it now has a strap straight on your tripod. So now you can just, throw your tripod over your shoulder with the camera strap built in to the tripod. No case needed. That was it. Forgot to tell you. All right, see you later.